I get started with intro because we only have limited time, so we got a lot of content we want to get to. So my name is Ed Lovely. I'm the Chief Data Officer at IBM, here from New York, and I'm here with three of my colleagues. And the whole purpose of this session is to bring AI to life for all of you. We're going to talk about practical, in-production use cases of how we're using data and AI to transform our company. If any of you participate in my main tent at 2:15, we talked about how IBM has transformed the way we operate IBM, and the secret sauce for us has been data and AI across all of our workflows. And we're going to share with you three examples, one in HR, one in finance, and one in source-to-pay and procurement. And we hope that it gets you excited about AI and the possibilities of AI in your work. So let me start with our first use case. Carol Mergen is from our HR organization. She's been part of IBM's HR transformation for many years, and she's going to share with you an HR use case. Carol.
Yeah. So let's take on the HR journey right now. So my only word for today that you can retain is experience. I will talk about experience only. So I have 6 minutes, and I will give you 3 users' experience before demo, a small demo, very speed, and 3 experience in how we work differently now. Okay, so first, let's talk briefly employee experience with HR. So we all know that they have some kind of customer expectation now, even from HR services and from their company. They want to have things when they need it. They want to have it on hand 24/7. With AskHR that you see in front of you, and I will demo shortly, they can engage with this single interface with all HR content through an LLM. They can do more than 80 actions that they can push from AskHR and which are done in the HR tier systems without the need to go into it. Okay, so I'm talking about expense, learning management system, HRIS, every 5 to 10 HR tools that each employee have to touch regularly to do some HR stuff. Okay, so it can access data, etc. Second experience, the manager's one. When you are HR, you know that managers are lost in not translation, but transactions and processes. They are lost all the time, late. They don't know where to go, what to do, in which order. Okay, so they need also access to data, insights, knowledge, guidance about how to do things, about how to process an HR program, and eventually take actions too within the same exact interface, which is AskHR. Okay? Then HR experience. So HR, when you've been HR, you know you constantly need to free up time to do more meaningful things, more impactful things. That's where you are expected, and you lose a fair amount of your bandwidth on administrative stuff, repetitive volume, etc., data management, process push, etc. So HR in AskHR, at the same way, so third persona we worked on can access surface data, HR data, can push program, orchestrate them, inform the overall users evenly. Okay, and since AskHR is an open and hybrid platform, leveraging all kinds of technology, HR can articulate different processes within AskHR from RPA to GenAI, okay? Because when you HR, you do not want that much open conversation about compensation maybe for all your users when you want to open conversation on learning, right? So it's not the same stuff, not the same domain, and you want to manage it differently. So you need to have all technology at hand. So, just setting the stage before demo. So this is the third release. We are live for our 280,000 employees since June 23, and we are in continuous delivery mode. So we have new quarter releases in one or more of the 27 HR domains we are working separately with data processes attached to it and transform them into agents right now. Okay, so let's start. The demo is going to be really quick. Okay, so you will see a manager who is looking to get the evaluation from one of the employees' team. So AskHR is going to bring him the data in this single window, okay, without going to SAP SuccessFactors, an example. Then he will ask what is the expected performance for a data scientist of that level, because he's going to welcome a new employee in his team. And he's going to want to extend his knowledge about what is a data scientist and how does it differ from software engineer. Ask HR is going to bring him data from enterprise background. He will want to have an email and a welcome and an agenda drafted by Ask HR to have his first meeting with his new data scientist. Okay, then he will want to deep dive into what GenAI skills are needed for a new data scientist today. So again, grounded on enterprise data, Ask HR is going to bring him what he needs at the moment that he needs it. And maybe this manager in this case will want to add a new skill to the data scientist job profile of Alex. And Ask HR is going to guide him through the process as defined by HR, and eventually allow him to do it, the action, directly into the appropriate system, or route him through the approval process that HR has defined, okay, for the action to be validated in the end. So it's 1 minute, 30 seconds, that's quick. So, yeah. So the KPIs, you can move, yeah. So how did we get there? As I said, we went progressively with quarterly releases. You will pick the KPI that you want. This is the overall 2024 results. I have 2 umbrella KPIs to give you. We estimate having done in the last 2 years the same volume of innovation as we had managed to run the 6 years before. So we have tripled the innovation speed. And it was even before agentic, okay, come into play. Today, we estimate being able to release a new content, a new experience in 2 weeks, when beginning of 2025, it took us 2 months. So it goes really faster and faster, and this is the way you can drive adoption, because you secure experience at each step. And to finish with 3 experience from HR, as I worked on the transformation project for the 2.5 years. So we set a project office, and we learned about governance, we learned about roadmaps, we learned about what it takes in terms of data and processes to build an MVP, okay? So these are totally new skills that we didn't have before. We worked with consulting skills to redesign our HR processes with AI first, having simplified before, as you said. So again, new skills that we wouldn't use that much before, okay? And we built with data and AI teams our MVPs. We learned how to co-construct with them, to speak the same language, because we do not speak the same language, data and AI teams and HR. So we have to understand each other to build the right MVP, iterate, repeat, and we became more skillful along the way. In doing so, I think that HR profiles have gained critical skills that they will need to manage the AI transformation of all the jobs across their enterprise.
Excellent, Carol. You know, Carol was a little bit humble in describing how this has changed our company. If you think about your own companies, IBMers typically, if you have any HR question, whether you're a manager, an executive, an employee, you go to the agent, and the agent answers 94% of every inquiry across the company globally. Like, that's remarkable. Most of us never, ever have to sign into our core HR system. To me, that's a blow for freedom. I mean, that's just making your work life easier when you don't have to do that. And that's where we are at IBM today. So, thank you, Carol. So next up is Pierre Torres. Pierre is our finance controller in France, and he's going to share with you our story around data and AI in the finance function. Pierre?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So indeed, I will talk about the transformation of IBM Finance. And let me start with one thing that Ed quoted earlier on the stage, is data. Data is absolutely critical. And in finance, if some of you are working in finance, we love data. We rely on data, we live with data, we sleep with data, and it's because it's supposed to be a set of facts that you cannot deny and you can rely on in your decision-making process. And the issue for most of the finance population is, how do I get the data, and do I get the right data? Can I access it easily? And we have studies, internal or external, showing that actually 63% of the financial analyst time was spent chasing data and producing reports instead of generating business insights or be a business advisor. So the whole challenge is how do we get rid of this time of chasing data? And how do we have the right data standards? How we do establish the right data governance model within the integrated enterprise model? It's absolutely essential, because without the right level of data, you can do nothing, and you cannot leverage AI. That I will talk a bit after. So the foundation of the IBM finance transformation journey was to set up an integrated management system and an enterprise model of data architecture and standards. So one example, which is usually the most simple to understand, is the taxonomy. Is how you make sure that you have the same labels, the same names within all the systems to define one line of your P&L, or to define, for example, if you want to query France in IBM, we've defined it as FRA. It's not FR, it's not F, it's not France, it's FRA. And it's like this everywhere in all systems. And this is building an absolute foundation to be able then to leverage the data. And this goes with our three key concepts, which has been a mantra for years within IBM, which is eliminate, simplify, and automate. Eliminate is about eliminating the operating complexity, questioning ourselves about why do we need this data, why do I need to publish this report, is it absolutely critical, which level of details do I need, which level of accuracy do I need, etc. Then simplify, it's about the workflows, end-to-end workflows and process. And it's about getting rid of all the redundancy of activities within a process. Like in expense management, do we absolutely need 3 approvals? Can we live with 2, with 1? Can we automate, etc.? And then once we have this, we can go to automate, which is about infusing automation or AI. And through this approach, we now have what we see on the screen, which is a quick screenshot of what we call the Integrated Enterprise Performance Management, which is a platform that we use and which is really live within IBM, that we use every day. And it's the absolute trusted source of the integrated enterprise. And it's a catalyst for faster decision making. So it means that there is no more data chasing, no more financial analysts looking into an HR system to get the level of headcount, then moving to an expense system to get the spending, then going into another system to get the revenue, etc. Everything is here and it's live. It's used what we call on the glass, is that it is used during the business reviews. It's used everywhere across the geographies, across the units, and it's something very interactive that sales population, sales manager can access, and it makes a perfect link on the whole end-to-end process, from the opportunity identification to the cash collection with client, contract management, etc. So and in the end, we used to have more than 300 reporting applications, and they were all aggregated into this one single platform. So it's really the trusted source of data, and it completely changed the way we approach and we work with the data. And once we have this, then we could move to the automate part, which is how we infuse AI and how we leverage the data that we have to develop AI. And one example that we have, it's called the touchless forecasting. Forecast for finance population is a symbol, is almost a totem. It's something that we do. It embeds all the human intelligence that we can have, but it is often very, very manual and very time-consuming. So what we decided is to leverage the power of all this data and the power of predictive analysis to shift from something which was very manual projection to something which is a kind of algorithm-defined forecast. So we completely changed the way we worked. It's not something which is done overnight, of course. So we started small. We started with some lines of the revenue, for example, some software recurring revenue, or picking one line of the elemental spending, identifying what are the factors defining the trend, etc., analyzing all this, working with data science team to say what's the pipeline of information, what is influencing my line of or vendor services, etc., analyzing all this and running it through EPM, because this is the basis. So we are querying this EPM, and then with the predictive and all the analytics, the tool is able to generate a forecast. And what is great is that it's not, we had previous experience a long time ago where you have a forecast which is giving you like, the forecast is 132. Now it's not just telling you this, it's telling why it is 132. There is an explainability model in the tool which is giving you the influential factors. Is it because of the trend? Is it because of the market information? Is there a seasonality impact, etc.? So there are all these influential factors which are identified and which are giving a base. And then there is still the human information, because there are things that AI cannot predict. If you know that you have an acquisition, if there is a major shift on the market, if there is new, restructuring or change in the organization, then human and the finance population is able to adjust a little bit. And in the end, we are learning by doing, and that's something which is cultural in the AI mindset, is that you test, you try, you accept some risk, but in the end, today we are at 97% forecast accuracy. So this is huge, and it saves a lot of time for all the financial analysts to be able to produce more business insight. So all these running with EPM, with IBM Planalytics is really changing, and if I may, as a conclusion, you see that what is underlying all these, and whatever we are talking about the foundation data in EPM, or this, some use case like touchless forecasting, is that it is really about, it's not only a technology, it's really a lever, and it's really about reinventing the way we work, challenging the status quo, challenging the way we were working, and really, it is really happening now, and we live it every day.
Pierre, that was excellent. And I want to add some context to what Pierre just shared with you. So I started my career in IBM accounting and finance. I did it for about 10 years. And it was really, really hard to get my work done, because every day was a massive data chase. It was finding the data, bringing it into a spreadsheet, manipulating the data, eventually cutting and pasting it into a PowerPoint, and that was our management system. It was highly manual. I can't tell you how many days, nights, and weekends I wasted chasing data. Now, for a company the size of IBM, when you have thousands of knowledge workers chasing data all day long, it slows your company down. It brings debates into your company about where did you get that data? When did you pull it? Who did you get it from? It just changes the way you operate. With EPM now, it is IBM's single source of truth globally. 40,000 IBMers use it to get their jobs done. It's changed the way we operate the company. And it really wasn't that hard. People think aligning and integrating your data is like really hard. It's too big, it's too complicated. Let me tell you, IBM, a 114-year-old company, 280,000 employees globally, hardware, software, consulting, financing, multiple lines of businesses operating in 170 countries around the world. We did it. And it's changed the way we operate our company. So let me go to our last speaker, Cécile Morneau, who is the leader of procurement for France and Benelux. And she's going to share with you how we're AI enabling our procurement organization. Cécile?
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Hello, everybody. I really don't know what to say after what you've just said, but I will echo exactly the same thing as Trey said for finance, and Ed pointed also that data is truly at the heart of procurement. I guess this is not new for you, but data is also a very big piece for us. Having the right data at the right time enables us to know our spend deeply, to understand the footprint of our suppliers, and then to make better category strategies and to prepare better our negotiations. Ultimately, having the right data makes us make smarter decisions and driving intelligent sourcing. So what did we struggle with? As Frère explained, as Carol explained, and Ed, the data. Our source-to-pay workflow is very complex. Was very complex. We have more than 40 data source and platforms covering more than 100 countries. You've just mentioned it. all the data is siloed into our different business units you mentioned, into the regions, and when it comes to procurement, you have, as I said, source to pay, you have the procurement entity, you have the treasury, you have the account payable. All those were siloed into different workflows. So we really need to have all those data in one place. Can you imagine when we had to search, again, matching the data, search for an information on a particular invoice, or even more, having consolidated data on the spend or on the list of contracts with one supplier? It could take hours, when in a good chance, but to a week or even two, to be able to have consolidated data. Now, we did, as we explained, we did the same for APM. We gathered all in one place. We made all those 40 system data speak the same language. You talked about FRA. We, in procurement, we have category spend. We needed all those systems to speak the same language in terms of procurement, to speak the same language in terms of supplier. You know what, you have different ways of writing a supplier. Now they all have the same way of writing a supplier. So we needed all these two in one place. As you guess, we used AI to address this challenge. So we enabled those 40 sources to speak the same language. We put them in the PM, as just I said. And as for HR, we created our Ask Procurement. So Ask Procurement not only is giving information of our IBM proprietary data, but also goes to search external public available data and third-party data into one platform. We asked in the natural language the information, and we have it in real time. And this is what I will show you as a demo briefly in a few minutes. So you can guess what used to take hours and even week takes now seconds, or you will see a minute. Let's be honest. What we can do now with this Ask Procurement and EPM information, we can develop better negotiation strategies, better category strategies, as I said. We can optimize our supplier numbers. So indeed, you have all those data into one place. You know exactly how many suppliers you have per category. You know exactly the spend, so you can optimize. You can make better decisions. We also have something that for me was incredible. Better KPIs in real time and some smarter KPIs, I would say. For example, what we have now available, because we have an enterprise performance management platform with all the data from all the company, we have what we call expense to revenue ratio. This is something really great to work with. You work better with your stakeholders because you know exactly how your spend fits to the business unit you're working with. And you know exactly if you are really performant or you're not. And this is really a new KPI that is great to have on a real-time basis, even more on the glass, as just Pierre explained. Something new also, because we have all those information, we have our position in terms of trade. We have the balanced trade of our supplier when it's a client. So when you have a discussion with them, you exactly know where you sit. So it gives you another lever for your negotiation. And to finish with some examples of what Ask Procurement can bring, of course, as I said, it goes to get third-party data, thinking of Duns & Bradstreet in our situation. We have access to financial analysis and, of course, compliance information. So this is some of the example I could get. I will show you the supplier brief. But first, before I go to the, and thank you, Ed, to the demo, I wanted to give you the impact. For the last 2 years, we achieved $2 billion in vended spend reduction and significant productivity gains in repetitive tasks that freeing up sometimes for us to do more strategic work. And I can tell you, this is real. All the buyers from my team are going from tactical to strategic sourcing more and more. And of course, as I said, with my expense to revenue ratio, we have deeper collaboration with our stakeholders. So just if I don't know how long I have because I'm far from the. I don't see what I.
You're good.
I don't see my presentation, but let me just stand up to see what I will show you as a demo. So here's the supplier brief. Is one of the examples we can do with our Ask Procurement. So let's go. So as you see, I asked for a supplier brief. One thing I want to add is that all the figures you will see here are dummy figures. It's better to say it, even though it's obvious. We're not sharing confidential data. And so don't pay attention on the figures. As I said, so it goes to external publicly data which are available. It goes to IBM proprietary data. And then it goes to third-party data. So as I said, it could take seconds here. It's going to take 1 minute. And you will be able to see information on the invoice spend, the revenue with this supplier client. You will see the list of the contracts that we have, the main ones. And you will see the sourcing pipeline and the sales pipeline, so what we are up to in terms of spend and in terms of revenue. It started already. So yeah, now it goes fast. So that's why I started to tell you what you're going to see. And so, as I said, you have also the total revenue of the company and our revenue. So we know what is our economical dependency, for example. And so you see here, it's started with the list. You know the evolution of the spend, and I pushed on generated a document. All what you've seen, in a listing format, we will have it in one page as a brief, just a summary, and you're ready to go to see your supplier with all this information that you need to have some good negotiation strategies. And this will be my conclusion. So yeah, an end-to-end use case that makes us work smarter and in doing intelligent sourcing. Thank you.
Excellent, Cecile. Thank you so much. I think you all realize, like, putting together a supplier brief like this would take a typical firm days, maybe weeks to pull together. That was like real time what just happened, and you can pull it. We can pull it for any supplier that we have, that we do business with in the company. It's just changed the way we operate. So as we wrap here, I just want to share with you. Hopefully in 30 minutes, we will just give a little bit of insight of how we've brought AI to life for IBM. I'm not exaggerating when I say it has absolutely changed the way we run our company. It's one of the reasons why we're now on 4 years of sequential revenue growth. We have our greatest cash flow we've ever had in the history of our company right now in IBM. Our stock is at the highest rate it's ever been in the history of our company. Like, we're doing really well, and there's a number of reasons for that, but from a operational productivity perspective, data and AI has changed the way we run IBM. And we just published a document recently. It's called the IBV study, IBM Business Value Study on data and AI. I encourage you to kind of look it up. You can hit me on LinkedIn. You can get it through there. But it's a really thought-provoking study. We interviewed lots of CDOs and CIOs and CDOs about what they think about data management and AI, and it's a really provocative study. So I encourage you to read that. And if you see any of us out on the floor here, please hit us up with any questions. We're happy to help and answer any questions, just to get a chance to meet you all. So thanks very much for listening here in the bubble today.
Merci.